It's Saturday. It is December 30th, 2023. It's right before the new year. I'm in a flag that looks something like this. This is on a costume at the local Intrepid Sea, Space, and Air Museum. Was purchased for one of my children, just because I'm currently on crutches. I have a broken fibula, so I'm unable to stand by the monitor or the television um, as normal. So I'm trying to work within the construct of my limitations at the moment. Um, so this is the flag of where I am, not to be confused, because there is this discovery of something the Smithsonian channel put out, a different type of museum. Um, um, and they put out a series. Actually, they put out two series. One is they put out a series called Aerial America, um, and it has some histories. It's all America, um, or it's the North American, um, and I'm watching it, and I'm balancing that level of acknowledgement or teaching or whatever they qualify it for, which I don't know. Um, but just as like a basis for me to have some constructive conversation at the moment with just myself, and documenting as I go where I'm at and what it looks like around me and what I'm currently experiencing. Um, so I'm watching that. There's a piece from New Jersey, mentions two different parallels, mentions Great Britain, mentions New Netherlands. Um, then there's another episode that I believe is called New England. Oh, no, not New England. It's called Coasts, which is season one, episode 74. And that makes mention of um, New England's colonies, middle colonies, and then the southern colonies, which again, when I went to public school, when I went to Catholic school, and when I went to um, the harbor school, the Cold Spring Harbor School, we did not learn that there was a New England colony, a southern colony, and a middle colony. That has never been spoken of before. But on this coasts, through Aerial America, they're making mention of this as part of this, I guess, American fiction of history. Um, in order to televise it or broadcast it. I don't know with whom they have to clear such things. But I did also see, there they aired a series of private lives of monarchs. There were 4 episodes. I taped them all. I started watching one of the kings, or one king, and I am not gonna comment on it, but I had to stop it. Um, but it gave me enough and it was mentioning a French king, so it was enough of a whatever. that I respectfully watched it, but then I stopped it because I had seen enough. Um, and it was from Versailles in whatever it was, but it was broadcast on the Smithsonian channel. So that was the private lives of monarchs, through the American fiction and through Smithsonian channel. Same channel that Aerial America was broadcast through for some kind of tie-in to whatever and whatever. Um, but sitting in my quiet in my 45th year and knowing what I wanted to marry and how I wanted to have children and who was palatable and acceptable for my desire. Um, and then what actually happened, um, which I'm not commenting on. Um, there's some circumstance around this, um, which I'm just keeping an eye on. At the same time, because it's going into New Year's, they have on the acting or the I have to look at the exact words that they use. I don't want to paraphrase this, but the I think it's assistant director of the New York City FBI field office, which I am like, now that's interesting. It just so happens to be at a time where something with Steamboat Willie with Disney Corporation is expiring. Um, and there's a whole lot of other details that I'm not going into. Um, so those two things, they're broadcasting all within the same time. I'm also just learned from watching the Michigan portion of Smithsonian Aerial America for the American fiction, um, that there's downriver. And I know I noticed that in Wisconsin and in some portion of Michigan, I see words um, that are much more homely. But again, at Harbor and at Portmouth, I'm also noticing that they put on this morning on the See the BS, this woman who's here from some alien territory. I don't believe it's a U.S. territory. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't have the officials on that. Um, but she somehow got here and opened a brewing company, and she's actively brewing. Um, and I am just, um, I'm just not sure what's going on with that. With things that I am hearing. Um, so then there's, I went to the physical therapist located in Bayside. Now I know who the demographics that changed from when my grandfather was here. Some move or shift happened. I don't know when. I don't know the details of it. And then something else arrived. And something else was here for a while. And then some kind of move or shift happened. I don't know why. And now something else is here. So I went to Northwell Health, um, Stars Rehabilitation in Bayside, and nothing looks familial like what I've seen in Wisconsin and downriver. And I'm at Harbor, and um, then there's concerns of upriver, downriver relationship, which I don't know anything about. I can't keep my eyes on it at the moment. I wouldn't know how. I'm sure somebody is aware of it. I just don't know who. Um, the other night they showed Stephen Colbert, who met with someone in Greenland who's USO affiliated, while I'm at USA affiliation, under this flag, which I learned the word flag comes from prestige in interior America, at like a USS Steel Corporation type tycoon, or I think I've heard words like robber baron, but again, I don't want to be abrasive or disrespectful. Again, I'm just walking a really tight line or wire at the moment. Um, so going back to Bayside Stars Rehabilitation, I'm in there for this physical therapy, and um, there's wars that are now going on overseas. To be exact, that they're airing in on broadcast in New York, um, and there's lots of protests going on in New York. Um, Again, like I don't have access to J2 visas in order to check to see what's applying to study at the harbor in New York City. So I don't know what's drifting in and out at the moment. Not because I'm not capable and I'm not available, just I don't know what is working in some capacity with whom. It's all unbeknownst to me. But I'm in this Stars for Rehabilitation. Nothing looks familial. It doesn't even look like I can't even confirm whether it's that one friend that they assigned to me that had some tribal Indian ancestral that took me to Maine, and we confirmed what her heritage is between the two very key words that her mother used, when they used to take me over to North Forth. And so, whatever that assignment was when I was too young to even know that it had like some important whatever and whatever, um, I am now in this whatever that's going on here. And the physical therapist came in and showed me a Mariah Carey CD. I had no idea what a Christmas Mariah Carey CD, no less. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I mean, I'm just blank. I'm just she was very popular. Um, so anyhow, um, so there's that. But what she did was she took my injury that I just had surgery, and the surgeon, the AG surgeon, might I add, um, told me not to put any weight on it, and I have not. But yet, and I told the physical therapist, but she insisted on massaging around the hardware of where the surgery was, and she really was very, I guess, she was putting a lot of pressure on the hardware that I didn't feel should be worked this soon after surgery. I have not cleared where um, they haven't done the x-ray after surgery yet. So, and then it wound up swelling up and bruising more of a bruise showed up, and it was very painful the second day. So I went in for my second physical therapy session, and she was not there, thank goodness. I had a different person. I informed this second person, um, and he was more like the original woman I had seen in Great Neck, very tender, very gentle around the wound area, and keeping with what the surgeon's recommendation of not too much pressure and not, and just being ginger with it. So, so that's something that I don't know why one of the, and again, like, I don't know the appropriate verbiage in an address. I don't. I have lots of words that swim around, but it really, to be as neutral as possible, but fact oriented, um, and based in the reality of what's going on around me at this time, is where I'm trying to stay right in that Goldilocks zone. Um, so I'm going to pause this for a second and I'm going to pull up the Aerial America. I'm not going to go into the private lives of monarchs, but I know what's on my DVR. And then I'm going to show the two pieces that are also going on in New York for this lead into a um, leading into a New Year's. So I'm going to pause this for a second. So over my shoulder here, it says James Smith, assistant, what is it? Assistant Director in Charge, FBI, New York office. Um, I'm not sure. Again, I would have loved to have been inside of an office such as this. It would have been an honor. Um, but that has not happened up until this point. Um, and I'm just, while there's two wars going on somewhere else, um, and they have all sorts of names that they throw out there, I'm just confused when this adorns up here a FBI symbol of the Federation. And being that I'm in a United States of America monetary system with legal tender that has this portrait of the federal notes, I'm not sure how this happens. Um, I heard somebody by the name of Tuberville make an announcement on Leland Vittert, which is News Nation, the other day. He said that in the military, there is no diversity, equity, and inclusion. There can't be. So I listened to that with a grain of salt. And then it went into something called a General C.Q. Brown, who also looks more like this than the Federal Reserve note portraits. They have him associated with Air Force. When I've seen this person dressed in uniform, he has US on his collar brass. But again, I only know of a General George Washington. Only thing in the schools that I had gone to that they've ever spoken of. So, and that was confirmed time and time again, that in our American fiction. And then, oh, the woman with the brewing company, what concerns me is she talks of in this alien land that she comes from before she got here, and I have no idea how she got here, before she opened this brewing company, that there was some kind of revolution going on over there. And I'm going, oh no, that's interesting. I was like, if they're having feuds out of my reach and out of my colonial, for lack of a better word, awareness, and they're coming here, and then some kind of a civil war, I'm like, that would make it like the mouth of a river, like a delta between a revolutionary war and a civil war, but I'm in a flagged system that has several different things going on between family and feudal at all times. Again, 4 different Smithsonian announcements at Private Lives of Monarchs um, that the historians know about, it, whoever studies at that level of history or high story. So I'm just this morning, the fact that she spoke of a recent revolutionary war, but talking about some distant, faraway alien territory, not necessarily here in New York, that was very eye-opening. That because I don't know of any revolutionary wars except the American Revolutionary War, but I don't even really know the details on that because that hasn't really been taught in like in whatever with the level of rooms that I've been in. So that was eye opening for me at an intellectual level with hearing her talk about inside of America, a revolutionary war that was going on somewhere else, and then her appearance here in New York, um, or on this side of the pond, in order to open this brewing company. And I'm really I don't know how I feel to make comment on it. I'm just making notations because of what I see here, which logically and logistically, and then having a problem with a meeting at a crazy donkey that turned into a marriage that I really never anticipated, nor did I ever agree to or want. And then later for that to turn into someone who has an email with the number 2001 in it after I discovered um, Chief Master Sergeant Roger A. Toberman, Toberman, who's currently at a U.S. air base in Greenland, and him and Stephen Colbert mentioning to him some movie I'd never heard of called 2001 Space Odyssey. Didn't even know that movie existed. But then this morning or this afternoon, somebody asked me to order something for him, and he gave me his email, which I had heard before, and in it had that 2001 and some Uncle Freeze. And I'm like, now, what is. Because after a crazy donkey and then having someone Uncle Freeze 2001 show up, I'm at a. If I met someone in Sunnyside, I mean, like, again, are the New England Patriots at war with the middle colonies? Are they looking over us? Are, I mean, or even the southern colonies? Like, this has never really been explained to my person. And I don't really know how any of this works in a communication project with all of this change going on around. So I am just really at the moment treading very carefully.
The first Disney production featuring Mickey Mouse. Now it's about to lose its copyright protection. We'll hear just what that means for the company, the character, and those who want to make use of it. You're watching CBS Saturday Morning. You're watching.
So I really don't even know that conversation. I haven't been a part of it. I didn't even know that there was something going on with copyright coming up. Um, I don't know if it's a tool. But I am just, these are things that are happening at the same time. So I'm just going to pause this for a second. And I'm going to go to Aerial America. Um, because like there's ancestral stuff that's going on here at the interior of North America, ancestral wise, and I already displayed the flag that I know of that's been the one throughout and that still exists here throughout the lands. Um, so I am going to go to the Aerial America because they display, but again, it's still within the correct color scheme of several flags. Um, Not quite sure how that, whatever, but um, coastally, it seems significant since they're mentioning it. Um, and then downriver, even further from Michigan. So, like again, I'm not sure where and how things work out, but I'm really careful just at the moment that this is put on from by the Smithsonian again. Um, Being at the Cold Spring Harbor younger, they had lent me from the Smithsonian, from their collection, a very specific piece, um, which holds significance. And I know there's a photo, I just don't know who has it. There's been articles of clothing and things somebody has of significance, I just don't know whom. Um, so I'm going to just pull those up real quick. Okay, this is the piece of Aerial America, which it says it there. This is Coasts, which is episode 74. This is where they mention the coastal um, colonies, which I had never heard of. In the series of rooms that I was in. Again, I don't know if that's where my life was supposed to like I was supposed to follow a specific path and then somehow if that got rerouted, I don't know if that's part of blood sport. I don't even know if that really exists, if that's really a thing. I dare not, like again, I'm just treading very carefully at the moment.
Well, colonial Louisiana and the Gulf Coast were settled by France. Their rival, Great Britain, was rapidly settling the eastern coast. By 1773, they had 13 colonies lining the coast of the Atlantic, stretching from Maine to Georgia. Nestled by the water on Massachusetts' Shawmut Peninsula.
So that's one piece. Okay, so on the New Jersey episode of Aerial America through Smithsonian, it has this, and they're talking of Hudson, and this is what they say.
Reported that the air
Oh, and it's season 1, episode 51.
held riches in fur. And in 1621, the Dutch laid claim to all the land that lay between the 42nd and the 38th parallels, an area that extends from what's now Cape Cod to Cape Henlopen in northern Delaware. They called their new colony New Netherland. But in 1664, just over 40 years later, the British wrestled New Netherland away from the Dutch and soon carved out New Jersey as one of its American colonies. At the time, much of the land that's now New Jersey was covered by dense forest. And, amazingly, more.
So that's all that they're presenting to me that I have to go off of um, while I'm here. Um, I'm going to pause this for a second because I really want to grab a piece of the monetary system, the Federal Reserve note system that I have access to put this really together with that flag system and with what the American fiction um, is using and portraying that is still being aired and broadcast at this time. So I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, so in this monetary system, with the flag that I've already shown, and then with the American fiction that they have going on, General George Washington is there, and on the back is whatever that is. And there's Lincoln, who has Lincoln Memorial, Jackson with the White House, and then there is Franklin with Independence Hall. There's also Hamilton, who I've shown several times. I just don't have a $10 bill at my access at the moment. So that's part of the monetary system, and I don't have Jefferson's bill at the moment either, although I know it exists. So that's where I am. That's my health update at the moment. Oh, and I've been watching this Dr. Pohl, who's veterinary, and again, I'm not saying that I'm xenophobic or xenophilic, but he is a veterinarian. He looks over livestock. He was mentioning when some of the animals, and again, when they were mineral deficient, selenium, he mentions. I was looking on some of the vitamins for some of the ingredients that I have access to in New York. Linda found one that she brought home, and on the back of it, I checked. It has selenium. It just doesn't have any calcium in it. And then a different brand of vitamin had no selenium whatsoever, and no calcium. So I thought that that was interesting, for deficiencies that I'm going through. And even though I have access to this healthcare system, their metabolic panels and things there, I just feel in order for me to have restorative care and health, I'm not getting the correct to the correct level of doctor and care that I need. I don't know why, and I don't know how to seek it out any other way. So that's what's going on for this day, for this, I guess, journal entry. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken, and it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361, which is in a county of Queens.